What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and it's Top 10 Thursday. So if you've been gaming a while, you've probably seen some sort of gaming controversy. Something that's too violent or too out there and somebody tried to block it from being sold. Well, I went back through the pages of history and I found the 10 most interesting cases of this on my list of top 10 banned video games. Number 10. Command and Conquer Generals. Real-time strategy games bring a lot of things to mind. Time, dedication, slowly building an army to win wars, but what you normally don't think about is the total annihilation of a country. In Command & Conquer Generals, the opening scene shows Beijing, China being destroyed with nuclear bombs. If that wasn't bad enough, the rest of the campaign has you blowing up nearly every major landmark in the nation. The Chinese government wasn't exactly happy about this, and they outright banned it from sale. Number 9. Carmageddon. In the 90s, we started getting realistic violence in games for the first time. Games like Wolfenstein 3D managed to get away with it by just having you kill Nazis, but other games, well, they were a little more blatant with their bloodshed. In Carmageddon, you're racing through the streets of America, trying to beat your opponents and the clock to achieve victory. Each track has a very limited amount of time, but there is a way to get more time on the clock. You have to run over pedestrians that are crossing the road. This is one of the first games ever to be called a murder simulator, and was thus banned all over the place. Number 8. Bully. Many parents are constantly on the watch to protect their kids from bullying, and this is a fantastic cause, but sometimes it leads to randomly banning anything even slightly involving fighting in schools. The makers of Grand Theft Auto set out to make a complex, open-world game that focused on a student in a tough new private school. It may sound like an odd premise, but the game itself was fantastic. It really showed the struggle that kids face every day. Unfortunately, some angry politicians didn't even bother to play it before blocking it in stores in Brazil, the UK, and even the state of Florida. Number 7. Homefront. This first-person shooter was originally released in 2011 and was regarded with a lot of high praise for its storyline. In this game, you're playing as a resistance fighter, someone trying to move around America and overthrow a bunch of invaders who have taken over. There's just one small thing. In this game, it's North Korea that's taking control of the US. This raised some eyebrows upon release because at the time, North Korea and South Korea were threatening to go to war. To avoid any bad press, Homefront was banned in South Korea, and Japan changed all references to North Korea to instead just say, "that place up north." Personally, I don't think that's the best choice of translation. Since the game takes place in America, a lot of times it sounds like they're saying that Canada is invading us. Number 6. Mass Effect. While many games on this list are banned due to crazy amounts of killing, this game was surprisingly banned because of love. Mass Effect, for those who have never played it, is a game where you're cruising through the universe trying to stop evil space robots. While you're not doing that, you can talk to people, make friends, and even fall deeply in love. The problem arose when the game was set to be released in Singapore, and it was discovered that it's possible for two women to fall in love and even kiss in this game. Strangely, lesbianism was considered an act of debauchery and therefore banned from sale. Thankfully, they did end up lifting this ban. After a couple weeks, there was a lot of outcry and they realized, hey, it's okay to play this game. Number 5. Manhunt 2. What you're seeing here is the censored footage of Manhunt 2, because when this game was originally made, it had quite a bit more blood and gore. Manhunt is a series that primarily focused on brutally taking down psychopaths in horrible situations. When trailers for this game started coming out, they were told no way. Every ratings board in the world basically said, if you release this, we're going to consider it adults only, and you won't be sold anywhere except online. Doing this would have totally crippled sales, so they decided to make a compromise. They made this strange red filter that would obscure most of the close-up executions. Funny enough, despite this change, it still ended up getting banned in nearly every major country. Number 4. EA Sports MMA. I bet you're thinking this has something to do with the close quarters jarring combat you're seeing here, when really the problem arises from the background of this game. In modern day, almost everyone drinks energy drinks. Well, the companies that make these try and put their logos everywhere. Since this is an Electronic Arts title, they have to fill the whole game with ads, including this background filled with energy drink signs. In most of the world, this isn't really an issue, but Denmark actually has specific advertising laws against energy drinks. That means the game makers had a hard choice: remove the ads or just don't sell it in Denmark. In the end, EA wasn't willing to piss off their advertisers, so instead they just swore not to sell any of those games in Denmark. It's just so silly to me to think of this multi-million-dollar game getting blocked because of a drink. Number 3. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Few gaming companies have ever faced as much public backlash as Rockstar Games. Lawsuits, protests, and even outright boycotts have been thrown at them, but despite this, they keep making great games. Among all the controversy they've faced, nothing has cost them more money than the hot coffee minigame. When San Andreas was in development, they tinkered with the idea of having TJ be able to go on dates, and even get laid. During the final testing phases though, they decided that this wasn't a good fit for the game, and they just patched it out. They made it where normal players couldn't access it. Later on though, the game was released on PC. Modders started going through the code and finding what custom options they could mess with, and that's when they discovered it: a hidden minigame. By installing a patch made by these modders, you could now for the first time play the hot coffee minigame, and basically have sex with TJ's girlfriend. When this got out, all hell broke loose, and Rockstar Games had no choice. They had to recall the millions of copies and reprint them with the code removed. You could say that one bad design choice cost them millions. Number 2. The Pokémon Trading Card Game. When I think of Pokemon, I think of cute, cuddly little animals, and quite possibly the most wholesome game on the planet. What could be evil about this? Well, if you ask some people, it's the cards that are evil. Pokémon the Trading Card Game was a Game Boy title that let you roam across the land, trying to build the ultimate deck. You'll be visiting gyms, collecting cards, trading with friends, you know, just fun, innocent stuff. In Saudi Arabia though, religious leaders were worried about that card aspect. They figured that kids who grew up playing card games would be more susceptible to gambling addiction as adults. Obviously, we know this is all madness, but that didn't stop them from trying to outright ban it across the entire country. Even though this was officially banned, nobody ever stopped selling it. It just shows that nobody can resist that pokey power. Number 1. Mortal Kombat. This fighting series has been around for 23 years, and ever since its launch in 1992, each year people try and find a new reason to have it outlawed. True, some fighting games have more violence than this game, but what really made this thing stand out was the fatalities. At the end of each fight, the winner gets to brutally kill the losing player. These are quite bloody, but it's clearly a spoof, it's satire, it's poking fun at 80s movies like Friday the 13th. Ever since the first Mortal Kombat came out, gamers have flocked in droves to play it. Everybody wanted a piece of the action, and parents started to get a little nervous. Finally, the American government decided to step in. They created the ESRB, a ratings board made just for video games. While this made the Americans happy, some places still to this day do not allow the sale of Mortal Kombat. I've seen article after article, even whole books, written about the subject on whether or not we should even allow games like Mortal Kombat to be made. And for that reason, I'm giving it the award as the most banned game in the world. Did your favorite censored game not make the list? Got an idea for your future top 10? Leave it in the comments down below. I just wanted to thank you guys real quick. This channel just keeps growing faster and faster. In fact, we're getting close to 25,000 subscribers. When we hit that milestone, I'm going to be giving away a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One to one random subscriber, just as my way of thanking you for liking these videos, sharing them, and just really spreading the word. Thank you. You guys rock so much. So please do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, maybe check out my last video. Please subscribe, and if you want, share this somewhere with your friends.